Welcome, guys, to the daily analysis for April 7th. Yesterday, the indices got to the 21-day moving average and then decided to consolidate there all day. All right, so that was the situation for both QQQ and SPY. Today, in the pre market, they're again challenging that area. And as we had discussed yesterday, given that we had tried to make a bottom last week on Monday, we are getting close enough to the range where we should see a strong follow through day in order to confirm that the markets had bottomed on March 30th. Can today be that follow through day? Well, it depends. All right. It depends on if we break above this 592 to 595 resistance, and we're going to discuss those levels right now. Before that, in terms of news events, we don't really have any economic events. The main thing is going to be the Trump's deadline that comes after market close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have an Iran proposal. All right. Iran proposed a counter deal, listing a bunch of demands, which mostly seem reasonable, but we have to wait and see what US response is to them. All right. So that's what's happening on the geopolitical front. I'm assuming some news is going to drop out of them, but let's just look at the levels and what's in our control. So yesterday we had said that QQQ could come to this resistance around 592 to 595. If we were to have a follow through day, we will have a strong morning push to break above the resistance. But the more likely scenario is we're going to consolidate and wait potentially for Trump's deadline. So that was the scenario yesterday in the morning. Markets tried to push. Once the news came out, they got rejected, and then we just ended up chopping the rest of the day. What about today? Today, we are still in that same range. All right. We are still in that same area. And it's very clear if we can go past that resistance, we'll start our run towards the 50-day moving average. If not, this is the same area where we consolidated for a bunch of days before breaking down sharply. All right. So price is not avert to consolidating in this area. This is also the support area where price had consolidated for more than a month before breaking down. So the fact that it's taking some time to break it back up is not a surprise either. But given that we were in this area yesterday, it makes it very clear where the neutral territory for today is. The neutral territory is around here. All right. And I'm going to discuss the scalping plan for today after I give the levels for QQQ and SPY. All right. We're going to start making that a section going forward in the videos where after I discuss the levels for QQQ and SPY, I will discuss what I'm looking for the day. But in terms of the levels, it's very clear. 586 to 592 is your neutral area. I'm going to give it a bit of room around 592 here. So above 592, the levels are 595, 598, 601, and so on. All right. Below that, below 586, we can go back to 583 area, which was the resistance level on Thursday. And below 583, we can go to 580 and 577. So those are your levels for QQQ. What about SPY? SPY2, it's pretty straightforward to see where the neutral area is because we just consolidated there all day yesterday. The initial resistance around 660, all right, price got close enough before the news came out. And on the downside, we held support around 657 the entire day. We tried to go a bit lower at times, but we didn't really stay below it. You guys can see the wick here. So the neutral area for today is pretty